Professor, and hi everyone. My name is Dai, or you can call me TaiPham. A little bit hot in Vietnam now in Ho Chi Minh City, but I try my best to record the video to complete the assignment. Okay, so let me start my assignment, my video. So in this assignment, I'm going to talk about 4 points as the professor mentioned in the assignment, the last assignment in unit number 3. So let me start with the first one, right? The first one, accept how you were able to apply the technique for encouraging others to reflect when you respond to your classmate microculture course. For the first part of the first question, I'm confident to say that I'm really good at applying the techniques for encouraging reflective practice in others. For example, to respond to the post of Chang Lei and An Nguyen about the microcultures in the process of moving through culture. First, I try to read at least 4 times for each post and try to outline what I am going to respond. Secondly, during responding to the post, I pause a little bit, read again. I just want to make sure that I respond directly to your point. And also, I see that I did apply the techniques among 12 techniques the professor mentioned in the course. The first one, I see that I use my full attention to read their writings, and also I try my best to reflect before responding. I make sure I understood what they said or approach, and also I try to realize the emotional side. And also I share my experience and my knowledge. Also I request more information, offer a different way of seeing things, and get other person think about the future. However, I realize that it is very difficult to keep an objective stance, because I sometimes put my idea, my stand on others' idea. Therefore, I need to practice this technique more and more so that I can keep neutrality when responding to someone. Because I just want to won't make them upset. And the second point, the second question is, how does this connect to critical thinking or an active listening? Well, I can say that is interconnected with critical thinking and active listening. However, in order to see how and why they are interconnected with each other, first we need to understand what is critical thinking and what is active listening. To me, critical thinking is a skill that can be learned and taught in order for one to effectively and progressively understand, analyze, evaluate, assessment, or give reasons and solutions to the problem, issue, or situation. What about active listening? If we do a quick look on Google, we can see that active listening is a communication technique used in counseling, training, and conflict resolution. It requires us listeners fully concentrate, understand, respond, and then remember what is being said. However, to my understanding, active listening is one's ability or a person's ability to use their full attention to get the pause, reflect before listening, make sure they understood the other people's idea, recognize the emotional side, offer alternatives, and others they can share viewpoint, knowledge, and experience. Also, based on what they understood, they can request more information. Also, they can ask questions about the other person has some talk up, take an attention stand, offer different way of seeing things, and especially we try to get other person to think about the future. So that's the active listening. They have to include at least 3 or 4 or 5 techniques among 12 techniques we just discussed, right? From this definition, critical thinking and active listening. The techniques for encouraging others to reflect is significantly related to critical thinking and active listening, because if we really want to apply encouraging reflect practice in others, we have to use 12 techniques of active listening to understand, and we have to analyze, evaluate, or assess, or give reasons, offer solutions to the situation, issues, or problems. And I think as if we say in another way is active listening and critical thinking skill are one. They are mutually included. Oh, that's in the second point already. And what about we come to the third point or the third question? How could you apply this in your own teaching? To me, encouraging reflect practice in others is very useful for both teachers and students. First of all, the teachers self-reflect on what they teach to the students to see whether what they are applying are suitable or not. In other words, by self-reflection, the teachers can remain what are good and compatible, and they can take actions on adjustment or change. What are not good, are not suitable to the students. How can they do that? First, they can record a video to see how they conduct the lessons. They can see at home, right? And the second point, they can ask their colleagues to come and observe. And of course, their colleagues will take notes and share with them what are good points, what are weak points needed to improve. And the most effective way is listening from students, so we can make a survey in a certain time, like after 2 or 3 lessons or after 2 or 3 weeks. The teacher can design questionnaire and send to the students after class. If being afraid of time or students' hesitation, the teacher can design the questionnaire by SurveyMonkey or the Google form sent to the students' email, so as the students feel comfortable to reflect on the teacher's teachings. So I used to do that. That's for me. I usually ask my students, do you happy with the lessons today? And what do you want to learn more? What do you want to improve more? What do you want to learn? What do you want to do in the next time? I just ask my students directly. We have the close conversation, so that I can conduct the very beautiful lessons in the next time. Secondly, in terms of teaching technique in a classroom, the encouragement to practice in order. In some activities in my classroom, I usually ask my students, okay, when your friend presents or says something to you, you have to try on your best to understand, reflect. You have to ask the question to your friends. Yeah, you have to make sure that you understand what your friend is talking about. So you have to engage in a conversation, in a presentation. And I think that's why I know 12 techniques, the very useful 12 techniques, and I may apply in the future in my classroom. First, I will present 12 techniques to my students, and I explain why you do that one and how you do that. And I encourage my students to do at least like you, the professor, encourage us use at least 3 or 4 techniques when we respond to the calls of our friends. Yeah. And I think that's the one you just want in the future. That's very good. The final point, question number 4. Before finalizing your desk or recording, review the depth of reflection rubric we used last week and consider whether your reflection on this assignment has depth. Have a statement about your self-assessment in this area. I think my reflection on this assignment is rather deep in terms of depth relation levels. I think most of my reflections are on level number 5, level number 6, and a little bit level number 7. So, when we mention about level number 5, that's a multi-perspectives. Because in my response, I'm not only thinking about my own personal perspective, but I think about other personal capacity too. And in terms of level number 6, critical reflection, I try my best to think about other capacity, but actually I'm working to change my friend's capacity. For example, if I remember in Anh Nguyễn, he mentioned about he seldom share his feeling or he seldom share his rendition to other people. But I asked him that if what you think, what are your rendition good for your friends, why don't you do that? You have to tell your friends, because he mentioned that and he's afraid of hurting someone else. But actually, if what you think, what you feel, and what you predict good for your friends, and you can save their life or you can change their life, we should do that, right? That's what I mentioned. And what about level number 7, deeply critical reflection? I always think about what has happened and try to understand this from multiple perspectives and questioning our own personal belief, and also thinking about the ethical or moral impacts on others, and think about how we should act from there in the future. And I think that's a little bit on level number 7. So, and the statement about my self-assessment in this assignment is, believe what you like, but don't believe everything you read, you see, without questioning. So, it means that we have to explore different perspectives, different sides of an issue, and try to answer why, how, or questioning to make the issue clearer. So, thank you so much for your listening, and I'm very happy to receive your comments. Thank you. Bye bye, Professor.